I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. Person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to America's Third Party and Centrist Politics. Good evening. Yes, I'm here. I'm ready to go. We're ready to rock and roll. I'm David Sponheim, and this is America's Third Party, and we are in the Conspiracy Monday mode. Major news, very tragic. Luke Perry has passed away at the age of 52 years old. He was a force to be reckoned with when 90210 picked him on as an actor, added him. He really added a lot of life and more longevity to the show. So I had a chance to meet Luke Perry when he was just starting out, and I actually smoked a little marijuana, which he had on his table in his apartment. I thought that was a really nice thing to offer marijuana to people when they come into his apartment. So I smoked a bowl, and I can tell you it was an amazing experience. I was truly impressed with his kind spirit and his way about him. He had a certain way about him. Now, I never got to know him personally, other than just say hi and, how you doing? Thanks for, allowing me to smoke a bowl. But I can tell you that his life was pretty hard just by looking at him. I mean, he was 52 years old. And you can see it's kind of written, etched in his eyebrows. And I would never, I'm not gay. Yeah, you can't come into the show and talk like that. Well, a friend of mine at the time, who I no longer am friends with, was inviting me. He said, hey, Luke Perry's, he invited people to come over that night. And we all got in the car and went over there. And he was a very nice person, it seemed. I never got to know him, though. Other than hello, goodbye. I've got these 1 or 2 second little vignettes. I talk people, super famous people I've met for about 2 seconds. And another passed away, Keith Flint, the amazing charismatic singer for the electronic group Prodigy, which we just played a piece of his that was phenomenal. Really was amazing. And I can tell you that it looks to me like we lost a couple of really terrific talents. He died at 49, Keith Flint did. And his music, you can just see, was phenomenal. I mean, look at this. Very unique, very intense beat, and we'll forever wonder, what happened. They say it may have been a suicide. We don't know, but that makes me think.
There are already people online saying.
That makes me think that he was indeed killed. They call it suiciding. You got to wonder, because a guy with that level of intensity and creativity, you wonder, were they killed for what they were doing? And yeah, there's been a couple of them that have died recently in weird, strange configurations. Eventually, people end up, I guess, pissing off the wrong people. I don't know. I mean, even Anthony Bourdain's death. Thanks, Jacket Pockets. Anthony Bourdain's death is still serious. Yeah. Wow. Avicii is another one that came to mind. Avicii was perhaps one of the most prolific mix artists, expert mix artists that brought us incredible music. He did a piece on pedophiles, and then he died. And Avicii, right, prolific. Avicii, the strange thing about his mix, we actually have some of his music, that is that he was growing in popularity and demand, yet he kills himself. The strange thing is he left a suicide note that his family never read to the press. That, to me, is a red flag. And no one ever got to hear Avicii's suicide note. So all these things can lead to conspiracy theories. I think Luke Perry died of possibly opioid-related injuries to his blood vessels, I'm guessing. Yep. And what we knew about Luke Perry is that he came from a humble beginning. Yeah. Yeah, this thing for a better day was Avicii did a thing about pedophiles, and I'll play that later for you tonight, that may have gotten him killed. That's what many people are thinking. But anyway, getting to the current status of Luke Perry, it looks like he had back surgery recently, and it was he's on painkillers, and that could trigger some sort of an embolism and cause his imminent demise. Anyway, tragic. They say people die in threes, so hopefully no one else will die right now. Yeah, like today, another one is due to die. These triplets of deaths have occurred time and time again whenever famous people die at young ages, so I'm hoping nothing happens to anybody. But Luke Perry was born Coy Lucas Perry III. He was born in Mansfield, 1966. He said he was happiest when the family moved to the country. But he came from a very humble beginning. He was discovered out, I don't know when he was discovered, but I think he may have been in some film or something, or in some acting on stage. And he had kind of like that stellar rise to fame when he was brought to the big screen. Okay, we've got Hogg saying he isn't lying. Now, we've caught David Hogg in a couple lies. He said at one time he was at the school Parkland shooting when it occurred, and then later he said he was 3 miles away and went there. He also said he was not an actor, and then he said he was an actor. So let's see what this says.
There are already people online saying everybody is a crisis actor. All these kids aren't real. This didn't happen. This is for gun control. What do you have to say to those people?
To those people, I say, have you ever been in this situation? I'm not lying.
Okay, he's not la. That's all we got. He's not la. Hogg wants to take our guns. He wants to disarm our country, and he's been promoted as a crisis actor. His father is FBI. There's a conspiracy theory that Adam Hogg may actually be David Hogg may actually be Adam Lanza. That's a pretty interesting conspiracy theory. His face has been lined up with Adam Lanza's, and many people are wondering, is this for real? What's it all about? What's it all about, Alfie? Okay, apparently I don't have that link right now. Here's an interesting side note. The only person who's had an open casket in all 50 different terrorist attacks in this country is the pastor from the Charleston shooting in 2015. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Yeah, that's just doesn't make a lot of sense that that's the only open casket we've had out of all these people that have died. None of us have seen any bodies whatsoever, and many people believe that this is all we need to believe that something happened, is one guy's picture. Oh, I hear somebody coming to the door. I think Sarah's making it into the house right now. Well, it turns out that this is not an actual picture of a human. This is a wax dummy. Now, you see the round shape of the actual pastor's head, and you see how concave it was and wedge-shaped in the wax dummy. And you also see how his ear was about an inch lower. So you're looking at a wax dummy, not an actual person. So the only real person that we've seen is, well, we haven't seen a real person. We've only seen a wax dummy. So there's no evidence of anybody dying in the past, 10 years? 50 different terrorist attacks? Wow. It's kind of amazing, isn't it? So that's rich, fertile soil for conspiracy theories. The fact we have no evidence. That's where conspiracy theories pop up. And by the way, conspiracy theories are not fake news, just so you know. The word fake news was first created by CNN when they referred to the events in Comet Pizza and the CNN and the WikiLeaks release of John Podesta's emails referencing pizzas as being not doing too well and may not make it and may be for sale for cheap. We could never figure out why John Podesta was talking about pizzas for sale, and they were going for less because they weren't going to make it. This interesting also second fact is the WikiLeaks that did get seen by people actually talked about $9,000 worth of pizzas purchased by George Soros, $11,000 worth of pizzas purchased by Hillary Clinton. Thank you. $46,000 worth of pizzas purchased by Barack Obama. We don't understand how anybody can eat that many pizzas. So there's a lot of questions about Comet Pizza and a lot of lack of answers. And now there's a willful attempt by CNN to call that fake news. Well, Trump is now using that word all over the place, calling everything fake news, including the Russian inquiry. So Trump is using the word fake news as some sort of a guard against true accusations landing square on what he's been doing with Russian oligarchs. Everything's fake news. It's all fake news. It's all a Russian hoax. That is a complete act that he's pulling to cover for his guilt. Now, I have never seen a president behave more guilty than Donald Trump has in the past 2 years. Insofar as Sarah Sanders said he weighed in on what the testimony of his son was regarding the meeting of the Russian lawyer to end sanctions. And apparently that testimony changed after Donald Trump weighed in on that. That's called witness tampering. And Sarah Sanders is on record saying he weighed in, meaning he did witness tamper. So Donald Trump has clearly been rigging every single statement that anybody makes, including his son, who changed his testimony to caring about Russian adoptions to wanting WikiLeaks emails from Hillary Clinton. And Roger Stone has actually been targeted by Robert Mueller as the guy that was kind of pushing that story. Now, Mueller's report is out in 24 hours, and they're saying it's going to be no collusion. I'm already reporting it in advance that Robert Mueller is working for the deep state. I believe this completely, 100%. And I can tell you that his work on the 9/11 Commission proves that he's a deep state player. Robert Mueller worked and signed the deal as director of the FBI during that time period. And Robert Mueller closed the deal on the 9/11 Commission report, which looks more and more suspicious as time goes on. We believe that maybe there was a cover-up then, too. And that's tomorrow night's discussion on Truth Tuesday. Now, Trump Jr.'s lie was about a back-channel setup with Kushner. Again, that was just cover. The real reason why Trump Jr. met that woman at the Trump Tower was because that woman, whose primary job, and she said so herself, was to end sanctions with Russia. That means that Donald Trump was working to end sanctions with Russia before the election. Yeah. Now, Robert Mueller has done next to nothing to advance a case against Donald Trump, and I doubt he ever will. Now, we were wondering why he hasn't produced a subpoena for the 10 years of tax returns that Donald Trump said, oh, you can gladly see all of my tax returns, no problem, yet hasn't released any of them, which indicates that he's lying there too. Anyway, the constant lies coming out of Trump has made a lot of us threadbare, unwilling to even listen to anything out of his mouth, yet he continues to use this technique of lying to divert our attention and to basically stall our country's redevelopment. We're basically in limbo with Trump, have been for some time. While he tells his people and he keeps campaigning for another election that we're making America great again, our unemployment level is at 45%, not 4%. 97 million people in America are out of work or don't want to work, out of 215 million that could work. That's 45% unemployment. Don't listen to the lie of the unemployment stat. We are deeply in a depression right now, and they're all making it seem like it's perfectly fine because people on Wall Street continue to rake in money. They're playing this entire country and draining it as we go. But today was a down day. And like many Mondays where things can go haywire, today dropped 206 points on the Dow, dropping below 26 by far, 25,819. You can see the trajectory of the fall and how it kind of smoothed out toward the midday. But there's an uptick for tomorrow, but there's so much profit grabbing on Wall Street while they expand credit that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting even poorer, which is almost impossible considering many people are living on hamburger helper and mac and cheese. And I know that. I can feel the pulse of America is not happy about what the economy is doing. And this pompous ass, known as Donald Trump, pretends like he's giving everybody everything they want, when all he did was give rich people tax breaks, which is going to hurt our country well into the future. Of course, I'm in favor of distribution of wealth, but more distribution of opportunity. I don't want to hand people too much free money, but I will say this, that I am the architect of the basic income plan for America, and the people who are copying that plan, like Kamala Harris, are going to face my wrath because I'm willing to counter with a higher offer. We've already upped it to $505 per month per U.S. adult citizen. Anybody who's not collecting disability or Social Security would qualify. As long as you could prove you're a U.S. citizen, you'd get that kind of money. We need to infuse money into our retail sector because we've got major problems with major companies that are falling apart, like Sears and JCPenney, struggling to survive. We've seen major companies like Toys R Us and Radio Shack go under. And here you survive by buying $35 worth of groceries that should last you 3 weeks. Exactly, guess 179.iblog. You're using your mind to come up with an idea of how you can budget your whole week. Well, if Kamala Harris is giving people tax credits and $400 or $500 an offer, that's not exactly what we're offering. We're offering $505 per month now. And I'll match that and beat it for $5. Anybody who's legitimate trying to run. The thing about this plan is you don't even have to have an income, and you could still get ahead and save money. With the 505 coming in on your EBT card, your future is pretty much whatever you want to make it. We're giving our people a chance to get some of that money that the big corporations have been getting for the past 20, 30 years. Why would the military-industrial complex be able to earn $719 billion, which Trump authorized, and you get nothing? Why is that? I think we have a strategic national security risk if our country starts to collapse economically, and that's why retail has to keep going. We can't just forget about retail, especially food. Now, this would be something you could spend anything on. You could, put it in a bank. It would help our banks. You could spend it on whatever. Cigars, cigarettes, I don't even care. If it affects your life and it hurts your body, I'm not going to tax it. I'm not going to put a luxury tax on it so that you have to clean up your act like the Democrats want to do. We just have to have a robust healthcare system that can solve any of our problems at a low cost. And the Democrats don't even have a plan. I could turn $35 into about a week worth of food. But the first order of business is to buy a 20-pound sack of potatoes for about $3 or $4. That's important. They're taking money left and right. And the Pentagon, we know from Donald Rumsfeld when he said the day before the 9/11 attack that the Pentagon was missing $2.3 billion. Where did that go? And how come Donald Rumsfeld never said another word about that after 9/11? It's not funny. I mean, the deep state is a thing they call the third rail. And what it is a secret cabal within our government that operates through the CIA, the Pentagon, and the State Department. And you can add a few little things in the mix there, like the Vatican, and all kinds of Masonic orders that work through secret channels to control our government. And they basically are in charge of Donald Trump and his election. They encouraged Donald Trump to get elected, and they are working collaterally with the Russian oligarchs. Because remember, the deep state is Zionist, and the Russian oligarchs are Zionist. So they both work together to control this country. Russia is not the big bad guy here. It's the Zionists that are running Russia, like Putin and all the oligarchs. They're the bad part. But the people of Russia are good people, and we should, certainly respect their nation. I wouldn't doubt you're in charge of something. Maybe your bowel movements, your head bottle washer, and toilet paper user. Well, covert spending is an understatement. We've got $50 billion a year coming out of Afghanistan through the sale of opium. And not one presidential candidate in our history has talked about this. I'm the only one. No one's mentioned Afghanistan and how we protect the warlords and how opium production has increased dramatically over the many years. I can cite statistics that'll blow your mind. Big Pharma controls lots of government. Remember, the government itself is being controlled by corporations. But under the corporate logo is an even deeper cabal, a deep state. But corporations started trying to take over our political structure back in the 1950s. In fact, I can cite the date. I have an article on August 16th, 1956 in Fortune magazine in which corporations said, we need to control government. So they set out to do it. And that's when lobbyists became a big part of our government. And they shouldn't be. They use lobbyists use the tax credits and deductions to get control over Congress. And they'll use any trick possible, like offering them free trips to the Bahamas, etc. They also use dirt. If they have pedophile dirt on any congressman, they can certainly use that against him and make them vote their way. And there's almost a strong conspiracy theory that Jeffrey Epstein, who's been in the news a little bit, is being used by the Mossad to get people in compromising positions with child prostitutes. That's why Labor Secretary Acosta was not harsh on him when he was a federal judge, charging him with a crime. He only got 1 year for trafficking, when 60 girls under 15 or under 16 were alleging that he was trafficking them. And now they're saying that was illegal. The judge has now claimed that the actions of our current Labor Secretary Acosta was improper. He didn't inform the parents of all the children that he was cutting a plea deal with Jeffrey Epstein, which is a gross violation of conduct. So all this is coming out. The Democrats are starting to ramp up their investigation into into Trump's activities, and this is the lead story in American politics right now. House Democrats seek information on Trump and Putin communications. The very fact that Trump and Putin had been in communication without any oversight after Donald Trump was accused of collusion is indicative of Donald Trump's guilt. The fact that he didn't take any recordings, and there's even evidence that he told his note taker to completely get rid of all the notes from his first meeting with Putin. Now, Trump has met Putin privately for 6.5 hours that we know of. He has a cell phone that the NSA doesn't even listen to, which is a gross national security risk. What we're seeing under this pompous president of ours is the mob taking full control over our government without any checks and balances whatsoever. And if the Democrats can pull up some information on the Putin communications, that'd be great. My number one question would be, what was that SAS interview all about? When Donald Trump fired James Comey, the day he fired him, the TASS agency came over, the TAS agency, they came over and actually videotaped a meeting between Donald Trump and the Russians. I think Kislyak and another diplomat was there. I'd like to see that videotape. We don't even have that. No notes, nothing. Why did Donald Trump call 2 Russian top officials over to the White House the day he fired James Comey? And I understand he said he was just happy that the Russian investigation was over. Can you imagine saying that by firing the director of the FBI, you could end the Russian investigation? That is obvious obstruction of justice, and for Mueller not to conclude this shows me Mueller is working for the deep state and protecting Donald and the oligarchs. So I'll be adding Robert Mueller to the list of interested parties when we investigate deeper into why they're covering this up. This is an outrage. And for our country to literally allow Russian contamination of our election without another re-election is indicative of how they already have control over this whole process. And we don't have any oversight. And if we're relying on the Democrats, I have to remind you that people like Ocasio-Cortez are the obvious dunces of the Democratic Party who are being promoted. Joe Biden is being promoted. Hillary Clinton has not been charged with a crime by Trump. Not even an investigation by Trump. And you people that voted for Trump to fire Hillary, you must be at least recognizing that Trump is not doing his job. Okay. Donald Trump's emergency order hits wall with GOP senators. What's next? You know, I even said in the show, Donald, you don't need to have an emergency order to build a wall. Now, Donald Trump, he copied my 1,000-mile fence idea when he came into our room in 2012. We know for a fact he did. I had it since 2008. I'm the one who measured the distance we need to protect the border. He copied it and called it a wall. And then all of a sudden in 2014, we heard him say, "Ooh, we're going to have Mexico pay for the wall," when he was asked who's going to pay for it. The proof is online. You can go to any of my videos at YouTube and you can see, watch the videos. You'll see me talking about the fence at various times. Anyway, the bottom line is we do need a fence. Donald Trump doesn't know how to pay for it. He doesn't consult with me, ever. I've never received a phone call from him. And I'm pretty sure that he doesn't have the creativity to come up with a way to get this fence, or as he calls it, a wall, built. I know exactly how to do it, and I know it could be done without an emergency order. And it would never have to face the stopgap in the Congress that it's currently facing. I know. Well, Trump offered Putin a free penthouse suite in the new hotel. Okay, for those of you who haven't come into the show, Luke Perry just arrived, rather. Luke Perry has passed away at age 52. He had a massive stroke the other day and he's dead. Now that's pretty sad considering he was only 52 years old. I'm 58 going on 59 in April. So I can tell you it's and I met this guy, shook his hand. He was a really, really nice guy, and it's such a sad life to see somebody go up and then down so fast. He deserved more life, that's right. And I think it's related to his back surgery, but one woman, Lily Reinhardt, said, I find it hard to grasp, but he will no longer be around to give long hugs and share his wisdom and kindness with all of us. I'm thinking of his family, his children. I pray for them to heal and find peace in this devastating loss. He's a father figure and mentor to the show's young cast. Luke was incredibly generous, and he infused the set with love and kindness. He really was. He was incredibly generous. I can say that was one quality I felt immediately that was about him. He was incredibly generous. All right, so his opening season song, obviously a pretty big part of a lot of our lives that you watched 90210. But for me, it's more, I never saw the show, so I don't really know anything about it. But I did get a chance to, meet Jason Priestley when I was younger, and I knew him when he was a kid. So this whole death of Luke Perry kind of came as a shock to me. It shows how dangerous back surgery can be and how mortal we are. If any of you are thinking of back surgery, you may want to look at holistic alternatives. Once they open up your back, it's like, yeah. Jeff Chandler was one of the most famous actors of my parents' time, and he died on the table from back surgery. You guys did get a chance to know who Jeff Chandler was, but that's his face. He passed away on the table from multiple, they severed an artery and it just bled out. They gave him like 50 liters of blood and he still kept bleeding out. Those were the days. I'm sure back surgery is a lot safer now, but I mean, still, what caused Luke Perry's early death and demise? That's a big question. Okay, we got a big serious story from Zero Hedge. I don't know what to make of this. It's almost hard to believe, but the U.S. Army takes 50 tons of gold from Syria in an alleged deal with ISIS. As the remaining pockets of ISIS fighters faced imminent defeat in northeast Syria, the United States allegedly gave them an offer they couldn't refuse. Give us your massive caches of gold or die. Now, I don't know. I can't corroborate this with any other news agency other than SANA, Syrian State News Agency. U.S. forces struck a deal with ISIS whereby the terrorist group would give 50 tons of gold across eastern Syria's province in the exchange for safe passage. $2.13 billion in gold. I don't know. I don't even know what to make of this story other than, wow. Here it is if you want to research it. I don't know. It's like, did we really get 2.3 billion? How come we didn't hear about it in the news? Hillary had a cat named ISIS. I don't believe that, but who knows? Who cares? Well, let's be clear. Big concern about artificial intelligence. Yeah, there's a story at the Harvard Review here. Recent developments in AI point to an age when forging documents and pictures and audio recordings, videos and online identities will occur with unprecedented ease. AI is poised to make high-fidelity forgery inexpensive and automated, leading to potential disastrous consequences for democracy, security, and society. As an AI researcher, I'm here to sound the alarm and to suggest a partial solution. So he's suggesting that he calls for regulations requiring bots to disclose that they are not human. And the state of California introduced a corresponding law that will take effect in July of 2019. This is a valuable step. It's true. If you hardwire every bot to say, I am a bot, require it, it will automatically be debunked immediately when it's, I am a bot creating a fake video. All right. The generals are probably the ones holding things together right now. Remember, Donald Trump fired General Mattis. Not really. General Mattis resigned, but he basically said things that General Mattis didn't want to hear, so General Mattis took off. General Mattis and John Kelly and Rex Tillerson had a pact that if one of them goes, all of them would go, because none of them were happy with Donald Trump. So now we're kind of winging it, rudderless, with no serious, definite foreign policy, and a president that constantly brags about everything as though it's a good thing. We are in 1984. I've already woken up. I'm the most censored person on the internet, so if you think for a second I don't realize it's 1984, I don't think you're listening. Testimony from Trump's chief financial executive, Alan Wieselberg, will be happening. The House is going to be reviewing all the statements that he made to Mueller. Did I say 2018? Yeah, it's 2019. Thank you. Not 1984. Hi. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Good. So this man Wieselberg will be speaking his mind again, and hopefully we'll get some answers. He had limited. He had a limited plea agreement that if he did, in any way conspire with Trump to do things with money, he would be forgiven. But Wieselberg will definitely be answering more questions from the Democrats coming up.
Wieselberg.
Beautiful, beautiful Wieselberg. I'm thinking of that song when
I was thinking Edelweiss.
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 That's right.
Bless our homeland forever. Tiny flower or something.
You saw that recently, the new remake of Julie Andrews.
that was
a different movie.
It wasn't Sound of Music. It was Mary Poppins, but
Yeah, it was Mary Poppins. You didn't really like it that much?
I'm not a musical fan. I've decided. Like my friend the other day is like, "Oh, we could go see this live musical thing."
I'm not going to do it. Yeah, you have to really grow up with musicals. I don't really like musicals. Hey, Luke Perry passed away. I just want to tell Sarah this. It was a massive stroke that caused his death at a young age, 52. And another person died at 49, and they're thinking it may have been a suicide. Keith Flint of the up-and-coming group Prodigy. Amazing musician who had incredible moves. Incredible music and a really
He's only like 40 something.
49 years old. Yeah, kind of a sad day for a lot of people who've been tracking those two people. I'm going to put that in the category of the Obamas. They're trying to revamp.
I like sci-fi, science fiction, especially anything with time travel in it. Somebody asked what I am a fan of. I like reality television.
Oh yeah, reality TV is something I enjoy too. Sarah and I oftentimes watch shows like the recent one, Hotel Impossible, you've been watching, and that's pretty good. And also The Amazing Race, Sarah's been watching all of those. She enjoys that. I wish The Amazing Race lasted longer because I would love to spend more time in a lot of these exotic places.
Yeah, like looking around.
Yeah.
Kind of like somewhere across between, what was that, Steve something? He used to tour, visit areas. And kind of
Steve something, yeah. The guy...
he was like on PBS. Sorry, Steve.
PBS, the Steve guy.
You weren't that boring. You were pretty...
No, he's a guy who likes to smoke marijuana, and he's openly
You
said...
did it fine. Your show was good. But
Yeah.
I mean, in some ways it would be good if The Amazing Race was more like that.
Yeah, it would be. I forget his last
Trust
name.
me,
It's
trust me.
eluded me. Steve something.
Journeys with Steve.
Journeys with
I don't
Steve.
know.
Special Counsel Mueller has a very little effect now. I mean, they say he's going to come out with a report saying there was no collusion. That's something that many people are predicting now, because he hasn't done enough to really find out exactly why Trump committed obstruction of justice. We're going to take a look here. They're notifying the judge that Trump's friend Roger Stone posted an Instagram image that could violate the gag order. And they put a gag order on Roger Stone because he put a target behind the picture of a judge who was seeing his case. I mean, that's a veiled threat, many people say. So there's a gag order and he may have violated it. So that's another little piece of news.
Speaking of a court order or court case, there's another court case that happened that they could change the way, that could potentially change the way the Selective Service is set up.
Oh.
So basically a group of men sued to say that the Selective Service is now unconstitutional. It used to be fine because women wouldn't be serving in combat zones, and that's like their justification.
Right.
Was their justification, but about 3 years ago, they allowed women to serve in any office in the military, including in combat zones, and therefore these men have said that why should only men sign up for selective service?
Yeah, if
and
women
they
are
think
allowed.
they should just get rid of it completely. But
Yeah.
why should men only sign up? And the judge said, "You're right. It shouldn't be only men. That is unconstitutional." And so now it's
Equal
going up for
protection.
appeal.
It's
But-
going to up for appeal. Equal protection under the law guarantees that people get treated the same, male or female. Now, I'm against the selective service sign up. I would like to phase it out because I think we've got a very strong volunteer military force. There's no reason to have selective service, and we've never used it since its inception in the early 80s. Now, I signed up. My selective service documents are out there on my bio page on our website. In 1983, I signed my paperwork, and I felt that it was a violation of my freedom to have to sign it, but I did it anyways because it was required by law. But I can tell you that at this point, we really aren't looking at future wars with humans. We're looking at wars with artificial intelligence and robots, unfortunately. And the human factor is still something we have to keep as a big part of our budget because
Yes.
we have 2 million people employed in the military. We can't just give those up. And they do a good service protecting our country, so.
Sister Fright asks, the person I was thinking of earlier travels with Rick Steves.
There you
That's
go.
what it was,
Rick Steves, thank you. We're totally spaced on that. Okay, so I'm out of here. I'm going to take a little break, make some dinner, and I will let Sarah take over for a bit. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good point. 204 thinks that the reason the military is strong is because the middle class is disintegrated and everyone is broke. They don't have any options other than joining the military. And DTV says, you're right, David, it won't matter. DARPA already has the tech for total robotic armies, so why should we have a selective service? That's a good point. Why should we have a selective service? I really think that there is no need for a draft. There is no need for a selective service. I think that the only time they had a draft or required a draft is when the U.S. was fighting a war that the majority of Americans didn't believe in. I think if there ever is a time that Americans feel like we need to go to war, they will actually vote they will let us know by going and signing up for the military. Well, maxed out credit. My day was good. I got a couple things done. Taught. I teach. Hi, Rex. I taught, so that's definitely a lot of things done when I just say I taught. But I also have some other things on my to-do list. I had a very productive weekend, but I also had a very kind of sad weekend with the news of so many deaths or people that I felt close to their deaths. The mastering is finished. I have my master's degree, maxed out credit. I got it. All done. Well, for now, and except I'm thinking about, thank you, Ticken. I'm glad David did some morning with me on Saturday. He's so nice and, what's the word? Empathetic. David's very empathetic. Now it's just about applying the master's. Well, it all depends on where you go to school. My master's costs less than $10,000. But complete total. But there's a lot of master's degrees that would cost $10,000 for one semester and then multiply that by 4 semesters, and so $40,000 to $50,000 for many schools, the masters at many schools. But I was able to go to a great school and do what's called accelerate my learning. So I paid for a certain amount of time, and then I had to take a minimum number of credits in that time, but I could actually take more. So that was very good. There's a bird in my hair. I'm wearing like a little ski hood, ski scarf, whatever. I don't know the real name for it. Good point. What's the total profit for one's lifetime? It's a lot to have my master's degree. That's true. So it will increase my salary, and I haven't done the calculation for my lifetime. Speaking of being productive, though, and increasing my salary for my lifetime and profit, I did go and open a retirement account this weekend. So that was another beneficial thing I did. Who says I don't need profit? Please donate. I need all the profit I can get. I'll take it anyway. I might not need it, but I'll take it. You'd rather be self-educated and make a minimum of 34% on your investments? Man. Next, you have 2 degrees beyond being annoying at parties. Nice. Interesting. No numbers before 1,000 has the letter A. Then does any number have the letter A? Maybe there's no number with the letter A. Yeah, how in the world are you making 34% interest? You could sell a book about how you can make 34% interest on your investments, and then you can make even more money because people would buy the book. Act now for only $100. You can make $34 on your 34% on your investments. I'd like to know the secret to that one. In the year 2084, will I be able to fund David? Maybe. Maybe. As long as he lives frugally like he already does, then I would be able to. Funny and smart, that's a difficult thing to ask for a woman, to be both funny and smart. Maxed Out Credit says moved to Morocco and charged Muslims interest at 34%. DTV says when you're 18 you buy your first duplex. With what money? You work double shifts like Dave, eat for less than $1. Well, I like that. Work double shifts and eat for less than $1 a day. But how did you buy a duplex? With what money did you buy a duplex? Maybe you bought it when they would give a loan to anybody. I don't know. And do you live in half the duplex and then rent the other half out? I have thought about investing in property, being a landlord. But one thing I wouldn't do is take on a mortgage. Yes, avoid drugs. That's a good one. I would agree with that. You bought your duplex in 1977 for $18,000. It's Canadian. Wow, that's pretty good. Keep building on all of it, then use the equity when you're 20 to buy a fourplex. Yeah, DTV, are you even 18 yet? How do you get the money when you're 18 to buy a duplex? Especially with the cost of prices already. I can imagine in 1977 you could buy one for $18,000. But these days it's more like $180,000, more like $1.8 million, depending on where you live in the world. A duplex in Southern California would probably be $1.8 million. A duplex in another place would probably be near where I live, maybe not more than $180,000, more like $360,000. Yes, it's all about paying the bills, Rex. Not just serving your wants today. That's good, Dr. Mill. In 1987, you read The Art of the Deal. Was that even out there in 1987? Wow. So you bought a duplex in 1977 for $18,000, then you sold it in 2014 for $425,000, but you lost all of it to pay for your stroke. Man. Oh, I see, Dr. Mail. That's a good one. Just invest in an entourage. Oh, things got messed up in the Obama years because he was trying to help the poorer people. So people like that had good investments were the ones that paid for it. Me too. I was sorry to hear about Luke Perry. Especially because, and I agree with you, it makes me feel lucky I'm still alive. Especially because, anyway, I had some other loss. I went to a friend's celebration of life on Saturday. And then Saturday night, I got an email learned that another friend of mine died this week. And it was very sad because I really did love her. And, but I was I was trying to look for like a silver lining. I said, I'm glad that even though she had passed away earlier in the week, that I didn't get the message until after the other friend's celebration of life. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. Maxed Out Credit says he includes David and I in his daily ritual of gratitude. I think it's important to have a daily ritual of gratitude. Ah, yes. Well, I was thinking about my friend's celebration of life, and I was like, oh, I should maybe plan my own celebration of life. What I would want to happen there. I was thinking out who I would want to speak, because my friend was saying it was nice that this celebration of life just a daughter spoke, but it might have been nice to have a couple of people speak. And yeah, how I have teaching friends, and I have different hats that I wear usually, and they're different. And then I thought about that too, Maxed Out Credit, to get everyone to speak, and then also do like a live show of my celebration of life, because I am a iVlog host. David thinks I'm popular I'm a popular, like, famous, and I'm like, no, I don't think so. But then I was thinking I could, my friend, she had a slideshow of pictures of her going. I thought that would be good for the background, like almost have a video, like a green screen setup, so people could come and do statements in front of the green screen with pictures, like a video tribute. Yeah, those tourists are always lined up everywhere. He can barely go grocery shopping without all the tourists. Yeah, video tribute. Yeah, the slideshow with pictures. I was like, oh, because sometimes I don't take pictures of myself because on the show, obviously, I don't need to take a picture, but yeah. And then when I said, why not just let anyone speak? And then they're like, yeah, but that can get really long because everybody loves the person and then it can get too long. But a video tribute where everyone could talk would be fine for me instead of just live. And then I was thinking, would I have a band or would I just have music? And then what would my playlist be? Like, I would want, there's a song, Where Have All the Flowers Gone? I would want that song and, yeah, kind of like the Table to Table wedding video, yeah. Or people can line up and do it. And then that, when you're going to San Francisco. And there's a few different songs. I was thinking I could put in a playlist of what I want songs. I could like create a playlist on, I don't know, MP3 or something like that. Yeah, I kind of do like Twitter, and yeah, I do feel bad. Oh, wow. That's a little odd, Dr. Meow. To have a big barbecue and be amongst the ashes? Okay, we'll leave the earth as a chemtrail. That's a little eerie. Yeah, I do remember fried green tomatoes. Today we're serving pork sliders. Let's see. Here's a great song. That's good. Awesome scissor fight. I am responding to Twitter right now. So this William Hurst is also running for president, libertarian, I guess. And so I'm telling him we have live video chat. Oh, I kind of like that. Retweeted. If you want secure borders, liked my tweet. I'm just checking on those. All right. Meow thinks that I was looking at the tweets about the border law, and Meow thinks that 2,000 people per month could be the max for immigration, that more than that can't be handled by the current system. 1,500 could be sent to education camps, he says, to legalize them. 800 will be processed. What? Wait, what? Dr. Meow. I can't read all that out loud. Never mind. All right. Okay, I checked all those. All right, here's links. Don't Give Up lyrics by Peter Gabriel. Nice. Use a conch as a shoe foam? All right. Peter Gabriel lyrics. In this proud land we grew up strong. We were wanted all along. I was taught to fight, taught to win. I never thought it could fail. No fight left, or so it seems. I'm a man whose dreams have all deserted.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a decaffeinated coffee that's safe, you know?
Yeah. What do you mean safe?
Well, the decaffeination process is carcinogenic, they say. That's what I've heard about the making of coffee that is decaffeinated. I mean, I would like to, wean off of caffeine. I'm 5 cups a day of caffeine is a bit much. I'm drinking cold brew now, but I heat it up, so it's pretty good. I'd like to reduce my tannins and acids in my stomachs, just kind of mild. Go for a mild blend.
Thanks.
So what's been happening? News, anything?
No, I didn't follow it.
Here's a great song, Peter Gabriel.
Yeah, I already did open that, and I opened the links.
Great, thank you very much. The links, don't give up because you have friends. Oh, I love that song, yeah.
It's right here.
We'll play it tonight at the end of our show because I can't record it, unfortunately. I know, onions are great for lowering, for reducing tannins. So you're thinking of an onion-flavored coffee? I'm not sure what you're saying. Hey, thanks for coming in and giving me a break. I made dinner for you. You got to turn the stove off, though,
Okay.
it's on hot right now. I'm kind of cooking your sweet potatoes and some chicken with Brussels.
Oh, thank you.
And there's some butter on the side you can top it with. Help yourself. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, so Trump's emergency order hits the wall with GOP senators. They're not going to go for his idea. Apparently the GOP is standing up to Trump now, finally, after all these months trying to hide under his shadow, acting like they're doing really well. When the GOP is, trying to make stable decisions, we can't reserve an emergency order for something that's not an emergency. It's ridiculous. Yet we do need a fence. Oh, French onion soup is great, yeah. No, I haven't found any pictures of Earth from a distance, from a satellite outside of the Earth's orbit, that are credible to me. I mean, we're looking at a satellite picture of the Earth, possibly. That much I agree with, so that's why I put it out there for Conspiracy Theory Monday. But Donald Trump's emergency order has senators griping.
Whenever any president, Republican or Democrat, moves beyond what I think most would consider to be their authorities. And so when you have an action that goes beyond those powers, I worry about things like the separation of powers. I actually care about the institutions, whether it's the institution of the executive, the legislative, or the judiciary. And so this is not about whether or not I support President Trump or not. This is not about whether or not I support this Milcon project or that Milcon project. This is not about whether or not you support ensuring that our borders are strong and secure, which I absolutely do. This is about making sure that we respect the lines and the lanes of authorities that are laid out in the Constitution. And so I'm going to be voting yes on the resolution of disapproval.
I think that Congress has given the president this.
Yes on the resolution of disapproval. So yes to disapprove the wall by Trump. That makes sense, yeah. Let's go for it.
Authority already. And unlike the DACA thing that the President Obama made up out of whole cloth, there was no congressional authorization for it. Here, clearly congressional authorization, whether it's wise or prudent or whether it's the best way for the branches to function relative to each other, that's a very legitimate question and a debate we ought to have.
I try to work with the president wherever I can when I think it's good for my state and my country. I'm very careful about that. And I can go home and explain it. If I can go home and explain it, I can vote for it. This one I cannot explain, saying this is definitely a national emergency and definitely we have to do it this way. I don't see that, and I take the Constitution very seriously, that the power of the purse lies with Congress.
Thank you. Thank you. And, I don't think any of these congressmen can sell Donald Trump's BS. Not even Donald Trump can sell his BS. Isn't this amazing? We're actually having fun. Wow, stream is, you're down? Okay, I'm up over here. You're taking me to French onion soup? Okay. And I'm not sure, is this an Oprah lookalike? Wait a second, we got a very pretty black woman singing country music. That's a switch. Yeah, that'll work. That's a YouTube success. Let's take a look and see if this is a link to making French onion soup. No, this is some sort of a Cheap Trick, Don't Be Cruel song or something. Yeah. Well, if you think that's relevant to our show, I'll add it later, okay? Yeah, we are, completely interactive, and we try to appease you at all times in that you are the chatter and you rule. You are the chatter and you rule. Rock and roll, everybody. Hey, we're in the middle of centrist politics with me, David Sponheim. Yeah, I'm just the kind of guy that, decided to stand up to the status quo and alternatively create a political movement that could unite the country. What a concept. At a time when we actually need it, it's been censored. And I am doing everything I can to be right on every issue.
My feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt. Oh, my Mr. Right, too good. Just turn my world around, cause you're the peace I find. If you sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good to be true.
All right, so we have endless new ideas to stimulate the country and create new pathways to prevent illness. And one of my brainstormed ideas was the 24/7 Cancer Cure Center. Because we can't possibly cure cancer without doctors working 24/7. Am I right? You're right. You're Mr. Right. That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Shut up. Thank you. Okay. So what happens is we have to allocate funds from certain spending projects like research and development funds for big pharma. We need to move that over into a National Institute of Health. Could actually divert it to this type of a program, and we could fund it. The same R&D dollars that are going to big pharma to put out new Cialis and Viagra, which probably leads to disorders of some other nature, other than your good sex life. The same kind of money can go toward actually curing illnesses that'll ultimately affect all of us if we live long enough. They say that 98% of American men will get prostate cancer by the age of 98. That's the statistic. David, you can't compel doctors to work 24/7? No, people wouldn't be compelled. We have plenty of people in research that would love to work these kinds of shifts. And the best thing about it, we're going to offer housing too. It'll be like a complex, because we don't want these people to break out of the complex and get, harvested by industry. You can only imagine how that'll be. So it'll be kind of like a locked Pentagon project. But those are very appealing jobs. I mean, you'll be working at the workout area. We'll have a full pond where you can go fishing. And of course, luxury massage facilities for people who are feeling a little stressed out, It'll be like the ultimate luxury government job. But we want to make these people the best of the best, like Andromeda strain, looking for the secret solution to the Andromeda outbreak. Many of you have seen the older version and the newer version, and they're both good. Yeah, well, we can look forward to things like that when I become president, because these are the kinds of things that will be spiking the media. Oh, go ahead. You're on. Okay, well, you got to leave your name, but I'll do it anyway. Go ahead. What's your question? Yeah. Hi. Hey. Whoa, wait a second. We just had to find out your number. Thank you. And we've got your voice. So being we have your voice and your number, the entire digital spectrum is completely controlled by NASA. And you are probably going to be, looked up. The NSA will find you and locate you somewhere. Trump calls, he wants all your ideas? Yeah. Well, the thing is, this show is so unique and organic that we can come up with ideas on the fly right now, sitting here in the chat room, and we can work together in every way. Like this amazing liftoff of NASA. You people believed it. You really believed that we were on the moon and we were taking off from the moon, and we had a picture of it from some vantage point, and you believed it. There it is.
Pitch over. Mission arm is destined. Okay, I'm going to get the pro. 99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector grid. Ag thought. Pitch over.
So, there's talk about someday maybe going to the moon. We might make it to the moon someday. So, yes, you were BS'd. We never made it to the moon. I hate to be the one to break it to you, but as this plan unfolds, you'll be learning a lot about the truth about our government and how it's operating. You probably didn't know that we are borrowing money incessantly, and none of your tax dollars are actually going to the operation of the country. That's another problem, which has got a crashing ending. Not good. We have to build a platform that's survivable, and we haven't even begun to build production up since the 1930s and 40s. We're still dealing with liquidators like Mitt Romney and Donald Trump, who made a lot of money selling American companies and watching American company jobs go bye-bye. I have never met Rick Steves or anybody by the name of Steve. I try to avoid Steves and Stevens and never met any Steves in my life. Hey, Dave, have you been to the moon and beyond? No, we never made it to the moon. That's my point. It was a ploy to make the Soviets spend more money on an impossible mission. And China just faked their moon landing recently. I thought that was pretty cool. Hey, I'm sorry. Death threats are blocked here. And by the way, we do have your voice, so bear in mind, these calls will be traced eventually to your location. Elon Musk plans to give the entire planet free Wi-Fi. You know, this idea came out about 15 years ago with Google's Loon program, actually 10 years ago. The same idea was proposed by Google with the balloons that were flying over there. They had a program called a Loon Project. Now Elon Musk is repackaging it and calling it his. Okay. Yeah, sure. The reason why they're not going to give you free Wi-Fi around the world, and I'd love it too. That's a great pie-in-the-sky idea, but it's a lot more complicated than that. And let my representative, or your representative, excuse me, not my representative, your representatives for the cell tower 5G network speak out for us here. Because I don't think any of us can ignore the prophetic words of Tom Wheeler, the 5G zealot.
The United States will be the first country in the world to open up high-band spectrum for 5G networks and applications. And that's damn important, because it means that U.S. companies
can profit, or whatever the hell he said. Tom Wheeler, I met this guy at a government convention in Sacramento in, I think, 2010. I walked right up to him. I don't know, I just felt compelled to talk to him. It was weird. And I do this. I've met people like Milton Friedman this way. And I just walked right up to the guy and I said, what is going on with the oil supply in America? How come we're not tapping into it? I was just brought the subject up because it was just a random conversation we were having. I said, how come we're not tapping into the oil supply here in America? We have so much. The Prudhoe Field. They just discovered 1.5 trillion down in Florida. Shell did. And he said to me in the same tone, he said, that's damn important. He said, it's a lot more complicated than that. That was his response. It's a lot more complicated than that. So I would assume that the 5G network, in his mind, cannot be turned into a free venue like Elon Musk wants. It's a lot more complicated than that. I think that in that case, if we've got people like Tom Wheeler running this operation, which we do, it's probably going to be a lot more complicated. So giving free Wi-Fi, though, is something I'd like to give through the electric current. And there's no need to send any actual signals up into the air. We could easily tap into electric plugs and run a 56.6 or a backbone of like a T3 circuit through the electric system. There's no reason why we can't send digital signals along with electricity simultaneously. We've already got the hardwire in our houses. I mean, I don't understand why we'd even need a 5G network when we've got so much hardwired in our houses. So these are questions that I will have for people like Tom Wheeler when the time comes, because what I'm seeing is a very untested, extremely dangerous, and potentially harmful use of the electric system that they're building, the 5G network. Caleb, okay, Caleb, yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Caleb. What's your question? Hey, what's your question, Caleb? We're listening. Hey, we're going to go ahead and block that number 2. And Caleb, by the way, these threats are recorded. So every single threat you make, even though it sounds like I'm locking off the phone, I'm actually recording all of your statements. Thank you. We got your voice. It's the architecture of your voice can match exactly where you're located. South Carolina. We are not trying to trace you. I'm not trying to analyze where your IP is coming from either. South Carolina. Within your house, you can use 110 for a low-band connection. Why can't we use it all across the country, Scunner? Duh. You tell me. I know. We're just not thinking, are we? You have South Carolina is a place that hasn't legalized marijuana. And, you know, a lot of these southern states haven't even begun the process. We're kind of waiting for the southerners to catch on with the, whatever happened to Leonard Skinner, you know? I mean, he's still doing shows at casinos and everything. Come on, people now. We got to legalize marijuana. That's one of the most important things. There's a conspiracy to prevent it from being legal, even though it's beneficial. We've got to do something in that direction. Well, 36 states are now allowing medical or recreational use, Zellfire. Thank you. Good luck with that, because I'm already way ahead of you, buddy. Yeah, people didn't realize, Dave, why did you even start this back in 2008? Because you knew, I mean, why would you broadcast on Blog TV of all places where kids are, not kids, but young adults are broadcasting? Because I'm timeless, and you can't stop me. But no, in reality, this is something that we needed to get going 10 years ago. So when I started it, I was 5 or 6 years ahead of Howard Stern telling people he was going to start a third party with Donald Trump. And then all of a sudden the trolls came in here and going, wow, Dave, you've been doing this for 5 or 6 years. Yeah, because I'm Mr. Right. I figured all of this out decades ago. In fact, when I confronted Milton Friedman 30 years ago, I told him there'd be major downfalls. Actually, it was 40 years ago now. 40 years ago. I said there'd be major downfalls 30 years from now because of this monetaristic thinking that you're engaged in. I told him that. I said there's no way you can keep expanding credit and not expect the roots of your economy to collapse. And the man was a complete idiot. Weeks later, he got the Nobel Prize in economics. Anyway, I confronted this guy in front of about 10 or 12 grad students, and they all heard me. And I said, this is preposterous. 30 years from now, our economy is going to hurt. And sure enough, 2009, the debacle happened. The mortgage crisis, Lehman Brothers. Yeah. So I took it upon myself to show him at that time and step into the ring and say, hey, we're screwing up. But nobody listened to me. I was alienated in my college that I went to, a couple colleges. I was treated like a pariah, like I was some sort of an evil person or something, because I was telling these professors who were completely oblivious to some of the bigger, more serious problems plaguing the world. These myopic little tunnel vision idiots, I was telling them the truth. And they couldn't handle the truth. They couldn't handle a person with my intellect approaching them. So they just completely tried to alienate me from the school. So that didn't stop me. And I've been working diligently ever since to waken the American people up in every way I can. So why not jump on the internet at the early stages? So yeah, I beat a lot of you by 5 to 7 years, and I'm more than willing to say we're using it to our advantage in every way right now. Now the world is watching, and we've got answers to the problems facing the country. But we're not going to get real traction without pushing the Democrats into their hole and the Republicans into their hole, because they've dug their own places, their trenches. The Democrats are now leaning in the direction of LGBTQP, and the entire program that they're pushing has been to give in to tax money and gouge the American taxpayer to pay for their ridiculous projects which haven't even been thought out. Trump, on the other hand, steals my ideas like most Republicans who just suck up constantly to any idea and grab it and use it to their advantage like a bunch of greed mongers that they are. And they've taken my ideas and bastardized them into the wall, the 1,000-mile wall that Mexico is going to pay for. And now he's saying there's going to be an emergency act to do it, and no senator out there is going to agree with that because they can't sell this as an emergency. So Donald Trump is probably going to do the most incredibly stupid thing, and that's start a war with Venezuela to justify his wall. Now, if he does that, that's the worst possible scenario for this country. There's other ways of doing this. But I'm afraid he may just fall into that trap because he is a New World Order puppet, just like George H.W. Bush was. A New World Order. 1,000 points of light. No quid pro quo. Okay, so many of you are thinking that every American should get a free Tesla Model 3. Did you know that the Model 3 is actually going to have manual windows? Isn't that brilliant? I mean, Elon Musk, he's really thinking out of the box here. Sell a high-end car for $35,000 when all your competitors have electric windows, and then put in hand crank windows in an electric car. That's going to go over real well. Yeah, people are going to love that. And they'll sell the eco-friendly people, oh, you're saving energy. That way you can drive longer. Less range anxiety. Yeah, I can see these people going, oh, yeah. Yeah, honey, we're really moving up in life with our crank windows here. This is almost as good as our old Hyundai. Jeez, come on. So I'm comparing glasses, whether that glass or this glass or this glass should be utilized. I kind of like these glasses the best, from my perspective. I know they look the worst, but they look like I'm kind of a mechanic guy. These are not cheap. These cost me $10 on Amazon. Yeah, you can quote me on that. These are not cheap, buddy. Yeah, these are my night vision glasses for the ultimate driving ability. Keeps those lights from flashing in your eyes. Well, I don't know. I mean, I could go to the 60s routine where we were doing that the other night. These are Foster Grants. They're not bad. I look kind of, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson. A little like Mr. Smith, yeah. What if I don't wake up tomorrow? What kind of a question is that? I mean, anyone could ask themselves that. Thank you. I don't do ramen noodles, no. Ramen noodles, it turns out, and this is not a conspiracy theory, this is a truth. Yeah, it's a fact. It's a fact. Ramen noodles have fluoride in them. High levels of fluoride. It's one of the ways they're keeping you dumb. Kind of like, oh yeah, I like ramen noodles. I do that when I'm on my study break getting my degree at college. And many people are on ramen noodles trying to study for their tests. And it's like dumbing you down, man. Fluoride is a neurotoxin which lowers your IQ by as much as 7 to 20 points. Which is a scary concept. That's right. Hey, you know, it doesn't matter what you get a degree in. If you want to make good money in the society, you actually have to get a degree. So if you don't want to make money, be like me and just don't get a degree. It's a wonderful life, I must tell you. I'm so happy that I've chosen this life because I don't have to bust my butt and get old like the inimitable guy who just passed away. Luke Perry. Yeah, what a sad day. What, at 52 years old? Another one bites the dust. Yeah. Luke Perry passed away at 52. And I met this guy. I mean, he looked 8 years, going on 9 years younger than me. And he thought he was a really cool guy, I guess. And what I can't understand is how Luke Perry could possibly be 52. And I look at his face and I'm going, wait a second, this is not right. I mean, my face compared to his is just slightly different. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't, take care of his skin or something. I'm not sure what, but it's like, yeah, it's just like a lot of wrinkles there for a guy his age. So obviously living hard will do it. It'd be better to be hardly living, just live in your bunker like I do. Well, I've got a pretty nice place. It's decent. I live in kind of a little mini paradise. It's one of the secrets to being, content and happy. My world is very simple. Everything about my world is simple. Much like your world, I live in a similar environment, but it is digital, mostly. I realize you're wondering, what's going on, Dave? Are you human? Or are you artificial intelligence? Well, actually, I am not artificial intelligence. I am David. I am off the grid. Yeah, Hollywood liked his rugged look, exactly. And they said he was like a James Dean. Now, for those of you who don't know who James Dean is, you can see how Luke Perry looked like a little bit like James Dean. I mean, you can definitely see a similarity. Let's take a look. Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary James Dean. JPEG. Dun, 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 dun. James Dean, everybody. There he is. And then there is Luke Perry. And what a life he led. I mean, he lived it hard, real. His friends and family will be... You see how there's a little James Dean in there? Well, technically you're right, David. There is a lot. Analyzing his face, I can see a direct similarity. Let's see if we can mat his face onto the image of James Dean. What do you say? Whoa, look at that. That is impressive, folks. See what I mean about James Dean and the look he had? So this guy was a farm boy. He came from nowhere, and he just, what a great career. There he is. You see the similarities? Yeah. Okay, he looks like Paul Newman then. Okay. Now you're talking. We're trying to, feature mindless discussions about entertainment during our show to kind of help me, trivialize the serious nature of Conspiracy Monday. I am not trying to scare you in these shows. Some people think I'm a fearmonger, and what I'm trying to do is make it fun, make politics fun. Yeah, it could have been drugs, could have been anything, man. But we'll never know. Wow, we got a loose one. He got out. He's out playing with himself. Let's really not put the less in mindless. Let's try to add more to the fact that Yosemite Sam is new and has now been burned from the show. Beep. We have some people who are posing as other people. They create usernames, like 20 before each show, just to come in here and use their backup. So I already got that guy down to his minimum from last night. He has like 20 loaded up every night. It's amazing. But only I can do this because I read 6,000 words a minute. So reading chat at this speed, I could read 4 or 5 other chat rooms faster than you guys. So I'm just saying, I mean, I'm 4 or 5 chat rooms ahead of you here. I feel like opening up another stream and opening up Reddit and just reading off of there, or doing tweets like we were doing on Saturday. We opened up our Politi-Chat, which was fun. Now, some people believe that Luke Perry may have suffered from a possible opioid reaction. These are the dangers you need to know about. Number one, you can overdose. Thanks, Maxed Out. Yeah, here's some dangers. How they work, they include hydrocodone, morphine, codeine, oxycodone, and OxyContin, and Percocet. The effects of opioids include addictive qualities. Yeah. Could they tell us something we don't know? I would like to see fentanyl banned. I don't know about you. Yeah, he looked pretty good for 3 packs of cigarettes a day, cocaine, and heroin, and being an alcoholic. You're right. Good point. Guest 819. That's funny. Well, that's the difference between a good life and a not so good life. So it's your choice. You can burn out or you can fade away.
Hi folks, welcome back to Mean the Left. Hope you're having a cracking day. If you like this content, please sub to the channel. It really helps. I love this story. Woman arrested for allegedly assaulting man wearing MAGA hat. Then authorities discover something else. On February 15, a woman at the Casa Valatra Mexican restaurant near Falmouth, Massachusetts, allegedly assaulted a young man wearing a MAGA hat and got herself arrested. After viewing Rosianne Santos' fingerprints, police contacted Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and it turned out that Santos was in the United States illegally. On Tuesday, she was arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
That is great. You know, I will play more of that later. It just triggers my my angst, really, about people in our country who are illegal, who are posing as MAGA supporters. And I think it should be a law, if Trump were to pass a law, make it illegal for illegals to wear MAGA hats. What do you say? Executive Order 666, something like that. The bald head person, which one? Sponguro Court? Yeah, we're going to pull you out too. Out of commission, buddy. I know, he can't pass any law. He can state executive orders. He's got one where he's going to insist that we have free speech, yet I don't get any coverage whatsoever. Yeah, here I am wondering where my free speech is. Well, it could be, number one, illegals may be, the illegal attacked them for wearing a MAGA hat. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, well, I would have had to listen to that. Okay, I don't really get his humor. And being I'm really kind of anti-Trump, I have to tell you, I don't really enjoy the MAGA hat thing. In fact, it's disturbing to me. Because it's not his idea. It's Make America Great Again was, I believe, Ronald Reagan's plan. Yeah, Ronald Reagan had the Make America Great Again. So for me, it's a step back to Reagan time. And as you know, I didn't vote for Ronald Reagan, but I certainly could sound like him. So yeah, so Donald Trump has been known for stealing ideas from everybody, including Ronald Reagan's. I'm a little bit upset about that myself. In fact, the little me inside of me says, Dave, that's just not right. Oh. Yeah. Make America Great Again. Oh, look at him. Mr. Ronald Reagan. Look at him. Yeah. Why not? Well, Dave, it's so nice to see your voice in my face. Aligning. Well, I tend to think that America needs to make America greater again than great. If we could only be great. Here, this is in the way. This is what? Oh no, it's my mic. Okay. Well, you get the point. I just wish I had Valium and for Nancy and more jelly beans for myself. Well, Don Regan knows more about Iran-Contra than anyone, but I'll send Elliot Abrams to Venezuela, just like Donald's doing. Yeah, Donald is sending Elliot Abrams to Venezuela on a peace mission. Tell me that's not the biggest New World Order play ever. The economic hit against Venezuela is moving forward with this Guaido. I mean, who the hell knows who Guaido is? As self-appointed president of Venezuela. Our country is literally trying to cause a coup, and Elliot Abrams, the guy charged with Iran-Contra under Ronald Reagan, felony counts, is now in play, going down trying to make peace in Venezuela. Tell me that's not an absurd direction for our country to be going in. Hello, Abrams is a crook. Thank you, maxed out credit. Yes, he got a pardon. I hear you. I hear you, brother. Do you really believe that about Nancy Reagan? Well, no one ever told me that Nancy was good at that, but I should have asked her for some special treatment during our sex life. We always wondered why we could never quite enjoy each other the way that normal people do. I always thought it was because of the Valium she was on, or possibly the extended use of her pillow. I never could understand why she was humping her pillow so many times. Oliver North was a setup, yeah, a big one. The whole thing is complete cover-up, and now we've got Trump. My God, how did this happen? Well, you put Hillary in play. You put a woman who just lusted for power to take over the Democratic Party, and you didn't let people like me into the Democratic Party. Yeah, it's kind of a tragedy, isn't it? Considering I would have been a better Democrat than anything. Isn't that right, Hillary? Now you got Ocasio-Cortez who can't formulate a sentence without, failing to understand simple economics. But Hillary put her in play because Chelsea doesn't want to run. Chelsea's not going to run for president or anything. They wanted Chelsea to run. Jeez, you'd think she'd stop doing that. But Chelsea doesn't have the plan. So, I think personally that Ocasio is not the smartest person on the block. Let's face it. And for the Democrats to put these people out ahead next to Pelosi shows you the Democrats don't even have any intelligence. They are literally dumb as a doorknob. They're just dunces. Look at the guy in my state, Jay Inslee. He keeps pitching cap and trade like it's some new idea. He's the big cap and trade guy. Oh yeah, like we really like cap and trade after 2 midterm elections and 2 presidents have said no to cap and trade. George W. and Donald Trump. But I don't believe in cap and trade. I don't believe it's going to get reductions in greenhouse gas necessary for our nation to actually succeed. I have a better plan. I know it's hard to believe, but it's hard to actually understand for some people. Stop spraying chemtrails. How about that? How about you Democrats start getting on board that plan? What the hell? We're being dumped on with all kinds of heavy metals, and they're creating climate change as we speak. This is a plan to make us all fear global climate warming or change and then go for more taxes. This is not the way we should go. Just stop the chemtrails. Money Grip, are you making a statement? Go ahead and spit it out, buddy. Instead, this is just a big laughingstock around the world. Nobody's asking the big questions. Why are we being sprayed? Now you're onto something, Dave. I'm not your dancing Jesus. I'm just telling you we're being sprayed like insects. Hello. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to realize you're getting dumped on every day over the skies. These are not normal lines. Straight lines across the globe. Horizontal, straight, zigzag, tic-tac-toe. These are not normal. I think gas is coming out of Donald Trump's mouth. Hey, yeah, R.I.P. Luke Perry. Let's get back to that. Let's take our mind off of the obvious. Chemtrails just need to be stopped. That'll solve global climate change, I assure you. Next, I just solved entire global climate change problem. Thank you very much. See how easy that was? I mean, it's a lot easier than you think building this third party and stopping all these problems that the Democrats are being sucked into and the Republicans are being sucked into. They're changing your reality and controlled talking points to talk about other things besides what's really happening. We're being dumped on. Now, if I have to grow a third eye and tell you guys this every night, I will. Somehow I'll be able to do that. But it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, to think. It's actually interesting to think, isn't it? Well, welcome to Centrist Politics, uniting in the middle of the political spectrum. I'm a fiscal conservative and a social liberal combined. So I like the Tea Party, but we came out before the Tea Party, so I didn't really jump on board the Tea Party. While we were being censored, the Tea Party was being promoted by the Republicans when they created the Tea Party, which isn't a party. It's a 501c4 nonprofit organization, whatever that means. No, what did Macaulay Culkin tweet on the night of the Oscars, Minute Nemesis? I'm curious. Hey, we got Luke Perry, the official site. Thanks, Maxed Out Credit. Yeah, lay some interesting stuff on me. I'm all ears on that one. Nope, not into the Tea Party or the Coffee Party. Like I said, the Tea Party doesn't exist. It's a complete non-profit political non-entity. Luke Perry, wow, he had a kind of an old style site. Look at that. Look at how low end his site is too. Isn't that cool? That's like processed right out of the 1990s. Hey, thanks, DTV. Well, you're just getting started. You can hang out here for the past 30,000 hours or watch our shows in video archive. Most people in the future are. Most of my videos are being seen well into the future, probably 100 years from now. But we're looking at that from the past sense, since the future hasn't happened for you yet. Some of us are living in the future. Luke Perry's now entering the future. Yeah, he's on his way through the pearly gates. He was being ignored like a bitch. I don't know, was he saying anything pertinent in his life? Did he make any statements other than being a really generous guy? I don't know, I haven't tracked him. No signed copies of Hybrid Capitalism. The only one that went out was Mad Dog and the other person who donated a large amount of money many years ago. And I hope she didn't get rid of it, you know. It's definitely going to be a collector's item. Let's hear what Macaulay Culkin said at the Oscars, bringing up story. Okay, Macaulay Culkin claims the Oscar winner eats babies. Wow. No kidding. Here he is, Incredible Hulky, and there he is. Let's take a look. The man who we believe was involved in the child sex industry. I'm sorry, something went wrong. It's being hit so many times, nobody... Oh, there it is. Rami Malek eats babies. There, I said it. Wow. The guy who won the Oscars said that babies are eaten by Rami Malek. I mean, I'm in a state of absolute shock that even people who are connected and know the dangers of exposing people to the dangers of Now we're finding out that this young man who looks like he's got extreme Graves' disease of some sort, who played the lead singer, bisexual Freddie Mercury in the tribute to Queen, is a person who eats babies, according to Macaulay Culkin. If this is true, folks, we have to get a check on his stomach, possibly a swab for DNA. Is he on adrenochrome? Is that what's going on? I mean, is Macaulay Culkin trying to out this guy? No, people like Macaulay Culkin do not joke. They're serious. He rarely ever makes a statement. Bob, you're not really listening to the whole Pizzagate thing, are you? You're still completely out to lunch on that. Believe it or not, Pizzagate's a real story that you can't just ignore, Bob, because you think it's fake news. That's fake news, all about Jeffrey Epstein and the abduction of 60 children, women, girls, and then that whole story about Donald Trump raping a 13-year-old girl. That's all fake news. No. You bought You bought the BS line, Bob. Reel yourself in. That's the BS line. You took the placebo. Now you need to actually dig in and find out what we're talking about. Wake up, Bob. It's not too late.
You're not going to believe this, but there's a very big possibility that I may be Alex Jones. Now, I know this is it's a shocker, and many of you are probably freaking out right now to think that David could be Alex Jones. But the possibility exists.
Yeah, there's a guy who was named Alex Jones before this current impersonator started his routine in 97. The real Alex Jones, 96, 97, he was doing radio right around the time I was. And his whole shtick, I think, could have very well been a plant. You know, they may have got rid of the guy. That's my concern. And I think I may have gotten rid of the video. Let me see. Closing in.
Here it is.
Did you see that?
Did you see that? Did you see that?
It is important for the viewer of this video to know that Bill Hicks is 12 years older than what his character, Alex Jones, claims to be. That being said, let's play a little game.
Even though he's an old, fat racist. Who cares about an old, fat racist? Says something about an awesome man, Asian African American, who's worth probably $100 million. Who cares about words?
Who cares about words? That's the real Alex Jones right there. Yeah, this is the guy. You compare his face to the fake guy who is played by Bill Hicks, this guy, who's currently the Alex Jones right now. You look at this guy and you can see this guy looks more like me than anything. I hate to say it, but it's true. There I am. Let me see if I can adjust my face in the right direction and, oh my gosh, it's me. Who cares about Fuzzy Zeller? Who cares? Yeah, think about it, guys. I'm kidding. I'm not Alex Jones, but I mean, how come I look more like the real guy than the fake guy? It's just crazy. Yeah, it's like, why am I not Alex Jones? If they wanted to fake him, I mean, just put me in there. I could play a better Alex Jones than Alex Jones, and I wouldn't have to look like a, big fat perv. I'm not that he is. Liar, liar, pants on wires. Oh my God, that looked like Mr. Rogers.
As you can see, I'll float, Mark is floating, and so it really takes a lot of effort to learn how to control that. When I set things down on the ground, you can let it go and it sits there.
You could clearly see the wire when he did that flip. I think that was Bach's Fourth Concerto in D minor. Hello, you're listening to Dave's radio show. We're tuning in to jazz, everybody. We're going to be listening to some incredible music from Thelonious Monk from 1969 and the Newport Rock Festival. Hey, okay, so we're going to play that tonight. That's in the lineup. I just don't know what happened to it. Here's David Hogg insisting he's not an actor.
There are already people online saying everybody is a crisis actor. All these kids aren't real. This didn't happen. This is for gun control. What do you have to say to those people?
To those people, I say, have you ever been in this situation? I'm not lying.
He's not lying. That was it. So was he lying or was he not? Okay, no ask histories allowed here. Thank you. Wow. Okay, Pedogate, we got that lined up. All right. Okay. Yeah, I just think Hogg is a plant. He's so arrogant, and he got so much free coverage for nothing. And it's obvious that he couldn't even do what he was doing without scripting issues. And when we found out his father was an FBI agent, and then we found out that Nicholas Cruz was, he had his handler, his guardian, Nicholas Cruz's guardian, is a DOD member, Department of Defense member. So it looks more and more like Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting was a fake event designed to make us all fear having guns. Meanwhile, they're planning on implementing directed energy weapons on the people. You know, while they're trying to get rid of our guns through this plan to push false flags and fake stories, we're literally trying to save ourselves from the potential of directed energy weapons. So I mean, it's getting weird. The whole world is. I'm not complicating anything. You're complicating everything. Let's talk about what America stands for, and let's just play our leader that I used to exemplify what we are against and how we're different from the Democratic and Republican Party. Let's play a little music for you. So as you know, we take on some tough subjects like the dangers of genetically modified food, and nobody's really doing that in the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. I talk about the dangers of forced vaccinations and how it could be affecting children at a rapid rate. I talk about the potential that we're being lied to and false flags. The Democrats, Republicans won't discuss those issues. I talk about so many issues that are just not even touched on. The dangers of fluoride in our water system, something that we all should be tuned into, and getting rid of fluoride is a key desire. They're giving fluoride in kids' water. Children, babies, have fluoride in the water, which makes no sense at all. Even the ADA, the American Dental Association, sent a letter warning companies to not put fluoride in baby water. That's how stupid the country is. They literally want to dumb people down with fluoride. It's a neurotoxin. It's more dangerous than lead and slightly less dangerous than arsenic. They did. No, they did. The ADA did a warning to Texas and other states that they should not put fluoride in baby formula or in baby water, purified water. They did that. Look it up. You know, we're done with you, Scunner. You're just like all the other naysayers here. We don't need you in here. You're lucky to hang out. Some deal with Alex Jones 97 picks. You don't have the source picks. I do. The fact of the matter is the expert work that was done on the Alex Jones case was done by two experts in criminology. I'm not making any of that up. The guy was replaced. I've had people from Austin, Texas tell me, Dave, you know that that's not the real Alex Jones, right? And they told me that the real Alex Jones that did a local TV show, community TV show in Austin, was not this guy. This is Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks faked his death. Well, how can you fake your death? Well, you know that there's no law against faking your death, believe it or not. I would never fake my death. But I can tell you that there is technically no law as long as you're not violating tax laws or committing fraud. That's just a reality. So the idea that Michael Jackson may have faked his death is very real. Well, you don't have to pay taxes if you don't make any money if you're dead. You see my point? Say you were to pay your taxes for the year that you made, W-2 forms or 1088s. 1099s rather, and you were just deciding to pay your taxes and then just disappear. If you didn't work again, you wouldn't have to pay taxes. So technically, you're not really violating any laws. I'm not encouraging you to do this, but I was looking into this. Faking your death, look it up. There's no law against it. And I'm against the fact that there's no law against it. I want to see laws against faking your death. But we researched this recently when the Michael Jackson fraud case came up. And then this guy, T. Rucker, online, he may very well be alive because we don't have a death certificate on him. I never saw a death certificate. But Michael Jackson has been, we actually researched this guy, T. Rucker, and one of our researchers did this deep search for him and did not find his name in the actual funeral home's search engine, which is very, very suspicious. It's like he paid the website designer to put a fake name out there. You can do that, apparently. But Michael Jackson was seen in a video recently.
I like your MySpace as well. And I'm going to leave you a poem that I wrote a few months ago. I think you'd like it. It's called Behind the Mask. Don't judge a leaf by its color. Be at my side and call me brother. Never leave when I'm alone. Walk with me till I get home. Some people say they cannot figure what is normal, what is bigger. But what is normal? Is it a bird? A silent creature that can be heard? Stick with me through black and blue. You'll see my colors big and true. But if you don't, then you're not you. A splash of light in heaven's dew. Do you feel the crunch of autumn leaves? Do you know just what I need? A bit of life, a kiss of love. Show me here what lies above. Behind the mask, there's only me, a blissful true identity, a single face, a wanderer's place, and true right to my entity.
Well, there he is. Look at that. You decide. He puts that net over his face and he walks out. At this point, folks, I've been very curious because technically Michael Jackson, if he has any debt obligations, which he doesn't, that have not been met, if he has any potential earned income from his work, which has not received tax, has not been taxed, that would be fraud, and tax fraud is a serious crime. But his estate's been paid through trustees and everything's in a trust fund. And his children are earning money out of the trust fund from his assets and his expanded assets. You could say he made more money on his albums when he faked his death, and that would be illegal because it changed it. Yeah. It changed the dimension. I'm not censoring chat, Bob. I'm just pulling certain people out of the show who don't really have a place here. Well, that would be forging a death certificate is definitely fraud, definitely. But to claim that you're dying, that you had an event where you just gather and celebrate life. No, they don't have a place. We're not a microcosm of a democracy here. I don't. You're not aware that we're building a centrist third party. We're not pretending to be an ideal democracy here. I mean, if I get commies in here or fascists, I'm going to be kicking them out. Why wouldn't I? I need the element that is far right and far left does not have a place here. Okay, let's talk about Gene Rosen. We got some clips here from Scissor Fight on the 153news.net network. I didn't ban you, I muted you.
Nancy. I'm wondering what effect this is going to have on, for instance, the children that you counseled, that you took into your home.
Nancy, I want to be with these children. I want to read to them. I want to show them there's light away from the darkness. I want to be their grandpa, their uncle, Gene, whoever. I want to spend time with them as much as they will allow and their parents will allow. I want them to come to my home. I just want to love them because they were very brave and very sweet. And their innocence has been torn away. I know it'll take time. I want to be related to them for the rest of my life. That's my goal. That's my purpose, and that's my prayer.
Wow, if that wasn't prison time for a pedo, in most cases, I don't know. I mean, that guy exudes an extreme love of children. That is suspicious. We've got people at McNeil Island outside of Tacoma, about 249 men and one woman, all arrested, and they spent the rest of they're even on parole, they're locked up because they want to do the same thing. They want to spend their life with children. And that's why the allegation that Michael Jackson might be faking his death is so pertinent, especially with the reveal of his new movie. Have any of you seen his new movie, Leaving Neverland? Just appeared on HBO. Press 1 if you've seen it. If not, I haven't seen it, so I'm going to try to, find a place to watch it eventually. But his estate is suing that movie production company $100 million for breach of contract. So who's pushing those buttons? Somebody's pissed off because Michael doesn't want to be known as a pedo, which means he may very well have enough money and power behind the scenes to be suing people left and right and living this secret life. And like I said, there's no law against faking your death as long as you're not committing fraud and violating tax laws. I've researched this. It doesn't exist. You look yourself. Feel free. Now, I would never fake my death, period, because it's an unscrupulous, low-life thing to do. But when we were researching this T. Rucker guy, we found that he had done this twice before, and now he's done it a third time to get out from under an extradition order that may come his way due to the doxing he did in our show. And when he was the most afraid I've ever seen anybody of the extradition issue. And then all of a sudden he dies. And we never thought he had cancer. No one ever heard he had cancer. That's right. And he had faked his death twice before. So apparently he knows that there are no laws against faking your death. And if you don't in any way falsify a document like a death certificate, which he hasn't done, technically he's not committing any law. If he's made money on his money and he's not paying taxes, that would probably be a Canadian law he broke. But they're challenging the Jackson estate to take him to court. They're going to take him to court. Jackson has paid very high prices to keep any evidence against him under wraps. Or let me just say any evidence that was taken from the Neverland Ranch, kept it under wraps. Remember Santa Barbara was going to release all this stuff? Well, if that's in the movie, then we'll find out. But I have yet to see any evidence whatsoever of Michael Jackson's pedophile activities, other than him claiming that he served Jesus juice to the kids. And you'd have to be sure that that's wine and alcohol. Now, I'm not defending Michael Jackson anyway, but I have the belief that the conspiracy theory belief that he's alive. And that he may be just hiding from the scrutiny of the public eye. And in the court of public opinion, he may already be seen as a pedo. And he doesn't want that. Now remember, pedophiles will go to great lengths to cover their activities and try to normalize their behavior. When he acted like he was just perfectly fine for people to dance, to sleepovers together, and I can't really do his voice, but I can get in the falsetto range and try to be Michael, but I don't think it's going to work. Now, I'm not saying the name T. Rucker died. I'm saying the guy who he claims to be passed away. Yeah, I'll show you the research that was done to verify this. Here's the guy. His name was Jason Edward Joseph Walco. He played the character of T. Rucker, and when The search for the memorial service found the location of where he was apparently laid to rest. That's not going to work, buddy. Remember I told you, Melko, you're not allowed here. You're a stalker. But the Glen Eden Memorial Gardens, this person looked them up, and you saw T. Rucker driving a Ford 150 in Flin Flon, Manitoba, and a girl who looked like Amanda was with him. I wouldn't doubt that. Yeah. That's pretty funny. So, looking up his name on the search engine for the Glen Eden Memorial Gardens, he doesn't exist. So yeah, I don't know if he is around. I mean, he probably knows that there's no law against it. So, all right, moving on. There might be a law in Canada. I don't know, but in America, there's no law against it. Okay, we got.
Energizer is now a Guinness World.
I'm not sure what this is, and therefore I can't play it in that it has an Energizer Bunny commercial. I'm so sorry. We are unable to comply with your request. So I guess the big news has not been touched on tonight. We haven't really discussed the Democrats plan another rebuke of Omar over comments viewed as anti-Semitic. But Omar's got an even bigger story. This woman from Michigan who spoke out recently, pissed a lot of people off, actually may very well have faked her immigration status by being married to her brother. Yeah. But the Democrats can rebuke her all they want if this is true, and she is married to her brother, in order to gain immigration status. That's a serious violation. Yeah, so we're still researching the possibility that Omar is possibly faking certain aspects of her immigration status early on when she moved here. I don't know. This is not something this is just discounted as BS, but whatever the Democrats do is usually published on NPR, because NPR is a Democratic rag sheet and probably has the most uncreative platform in history. I've heard the same thing from NPR over the past 20 years. Even the same people, like Diane Reeves at 11:30 at night with her speech defect. This is Diane Reeves of NPR Radio calling out. I mean, how could anyone run a show like that? At this point, Dave, you know anything from the Dems now is BS. I agree. Yeah, it is. The Democrats have been fighting amongst themselves to keep each other from talking. Because if you speak out in the Democratic Party in a democratic way, you're kicked out. That's what happened to me, essentially. In 2007, I was told to shut up in a Democratic club meeting. They not only told me to shut up, but they also said no one would ever vote for me. It's like they use groupthink to conspire against their own people. So the Democrats can't possibly come up with any new ideas. David, how can being anti-Israel be anti-Semitic if Israel is largely comprised of Ashkenazi Jews, who by definition are not true Semites? You know, I don't know exactly how many Jewish people in Israel are related to Abraham. But technically, the Orthodox Jews in Israel, the Hasidic Jews here in America, believe that you have to be descendants of Abraham to be Jewish. So it's possible the state of Israel has a lot of different cultures. The Ashkenazis may be posing as Jews. They may be converting to Muslims. It's irrelevant at this point. Israel will become more of a cosmopolitan nation eventually. Right now, it's the only remaining apartheid state or nation in the world. With South Africa giving up their apartheid status, the new one is now Israel. Now, the Rothschilds are not true Jews. That's right. And they were the ones that developed Israel. So you have to understand, the Rothschilds, by their own admission, being Ashkenazis, that they are, developed Israel with the intent of, ultimately achieving what they saw as the vision of Zion. And let's take it from Jacob Rothschild. He'll tell you exactly what he meant when he said he created Israel.
His Majesty's government view with favour the establishment of Palestine as a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavours to facilitate the achievement of this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine, or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country. I should be grateful if you would bring this declaration to the knowledge of the Zionist Federation. Yours, Arthur Balfour.
And here it is, the Balfour Declaration. What do you feel when you see it here?
And I feel that I'm getting a little bit of a bowel movement coming on. I need to go to the bathroom. Okay, somebody said, hey, Dave, how much prep time goes into your show, and do you have outside help? No, I don't. And no prep time. I am interactive in real time. My entire show is based on a simple platform of interconnectivity to you, the audience, providing me instantaneous access to your information database. As you see, I am simply human, like you. I am not AI. My construct is simply designed to respond to questions in real time. Thank you, DTV. Naming all of the tribes of Israel. We're not a religious show, dude. Nor do I want Zionism infecting our politics. That's why I'm an anti-Zionist. I'm against what the Rothschilds are trying to do with global dominance. I have no problem with Israel existing and having a state of a cosmopolitan population of people from various cultures. I have no problem with Israel as a nation. I actually embrace the notion that Israel's existence is implanted in time and space, here and now. No way will I ever deny Israel their right to nationhood. So I'm not anti-Zionist in that respect. I'm anti-Zionist insofar as I do not want the people, the same power brokers that created the state of Israel, to control the world and create a new world order. I support a nation-state model, which is, by the way, the lasting model for all world governments, or all of our nation's governments in the world. So if you look at the nation-state model and its regionalization and how it appeals to the specific area in which it operates, it's working great. There's no need for a new world order. Every single time in the history of mankind that there has been an attempt to get rid of or to take over large areas of the world, like Caesar and Hitler, Napoleon, every single time has failed, without a doubt. So I'm standing on the side of tradition and the future. The New World Order is standing on the opposite side, which will never, ever come to fruition. We will always have nation states dominating this beautiful planet of ours. That's my prediction. Every effort by any other group, whether they be Masonic, Luciferians, anybody connected to some dark secret cabal, will fail. Simply because the mathematics prevail. It's a lot easier for me to grow a peach in a greenhouse 100 miles from where I live than it is for me to take crappy peaches and stick them in a box and spray them with benzene or Certifresh or whatever, and then send them out 4 months later on the shelf for you to buy and taste like cardboard. So believe it or not, good quality does sell. And the New World Order is bringing us bad quality, cheapened quality. and it will eventually become the downfall of our country.
Hi.
Measles and the Brady Bunch. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Oh, yeah, we never got any nuclear arms reductions from Kimmy. Macho Mam Tranny Savage rap battle. That's going to be interesting. Do you mind me not... We're kind of coddling Kim Jong-un right now. Yes, we're getting the giant yin-yang reversal of Donald Trump's plan of world peace. We're getting the butt end of it right now. Yeah, Kim Jong-un had no intent of doing anything but 900,000 bottles of vodka, and he failed. So he's pissed off, but not like these men are pissed off. Let's take a look. "20 minutes of this? That's too much to believe."
To our left, representing Corpus Christi, Texas, we got Michael White. Make some noise. Oh, nigga! I was supposed to spit. Relax. Yo, everybody in this fucking building.
So he's a verbally violent rapper who is a transgender. This will be fantastic. How can I not want to watch that? Maxed Out Credit has something.
Okay, guys, it's 27th February. I'm sure you've been watching the skies, and let's have a look. This is today. You see, they've been working really, really hard at the west coast. Spread big trails.
The climate terrorists are messing up our climate system. Thanks. I'll play that tonight as well. Good. Yeah, I'm glad we're getting more 153news.net shows coming our way. Forces me to be in here too to watch it with you. Verbally violent transgender rapper. Yeah, I'm anxious to see that. Cookies, Luke Perry really did die. I think it may have been related to back surgery or opioids. That's my take on it. Okay, we've got a new take on wrestling for those of you who are big wrestling fans. Now, try not to take offense to this, but wrestling is just softcore gay porn for straight men in denial. That's pretty funny. Well, that could be true about football, too. I mean, you could take it to any degree. I mean, contact sports are contact sports. Am I right? Am I right? You're right, David. You're right.
You're just telling yourself.
I was just telling myself I was right. I can't wait to play some of this music. We got... Wow. Yeah, don't give up on us now.
World records holder for long.
Sorry about the loudness. That's hard to believe. But that's a true tweet from Macaulay Culkin. That the winner of the Oscars was, in fact, Rami Malek, the guy who played Freddie Mercury in The Queen. He claimed that. So it's just... That's Conspiracy Monday from Macaulay Culkin. Hard to believe, but it's right there in our face. Okay, and then Luke Perry's still dead, just so everyone knows. He hasn't come back to life. You got something too? Oh, they just keep coming. That's scary weird. I'm freaking out. I can't look at that or I'll get it like a brain synapse. A random misfire of my brain. That's a weird one, Scissor Fight. Yeah, isn't that weird? And I was like, I don't want to look at that. Did you have some dinner? Okay, good. I'm gonna have a little dinner and
then I finished the box of Annie's goldfish things.
I've got another one I'm gonna bring out. We're not allowed to allow anybody like that to come into the show. Anyone who says like fact and all these new names, that's just Melko. Okay. And he's been stalking our show for 6 years, and it's getting to be ridiculous. So we'll just keep banning him. Well, thank you. Let's
Can I
see.
start getting rid of stuff?
No, I've got Beverly Hills 90210. I've got Luke Perry. Let me just put these in the hopper for tonight's show. I can get rid of a few of these. Beverly Hills 90210 opening, really obnoxious opening. Really, we're going to look at that tonight. And then seasons 2 and 3 highlights from Beverly Hills 90210. Being it's such a big show, I got Cheap Trick. That's going to be in our show. So can I just leave it there? Because I usually play that at the end of the show. And I've got Peter Gabriel, Don't Give Up. Because I can't play this during their show. And then the death of this prodigal guy, or the prodigy guy, sad date for him, 49 years old. Keith Flint, the intense, charismatic singer for electronic group The Prodigy, has died. They think it may be suicide, but you gotta wonder. Yeah. I was talking about, a lot of different people have had these suicide issues. All right, thank you. Sarah's going to take over while I get some food. I'll be back. Thank you. We'll try not to ban as much later, but we are being attacked by a stalker, so.
Yeah, probably will continue the banning, the stalking, the whatever. The Prodigy guy ghost. Okay, cookies. Cookies says bye. Well, he doesn't want to be a cute little angle. I teach my students the difference between a cute little angle and a... Wait, I can't do it. And a juice angle. That's what you think, Lawnmower Man. We'll let you think that. Oh. House Democrats are going to take floor action to confront Ilhan Omar's latest Israel comments. Injury count in Lee County is up to 63 because of the tornadoes. House Democrats are looking for information on Trump and Putin's communications. No, I cannot play any Clapton. Okay, Ghost. Yeah, no. I don't think my cat missed me that much during my vacation. I think she would miss David if he were gone. But I don't think she misses me. You'd have to ask David, he was here. For Fukushima's nuclear disaster, robots may be the only hope. And maybe not even that. Attorney General Barr won't recuse from oversight of Russia investigation. The winner of a $1.5 billion Mega Millions prize comes forward in South Carolina. It contained an image of him under the words, "Who framed Roger Stone?" It was Roger. Yeah, Roger Stone. Stone is barred from commenting on Mueller's team of prosecutors under the gag order imposed by Judge Amy Berman Jackson late February. And then Stone said it was an egregious, stupid mistake to post on Instagram. Right. During the time I've known David, yeah, David had his own business when I met him. Maybe I didn't help him enough with the business, or maybe I contributed to him not having a business. But yeah, he had a business when I met him. When I first met him. He's getting paid, gigs, paid, yeah, people were paying him to do things. Juan Guaido were returned home to Venezuela. It calls for more protests. The Trudeau crisis is growing as a minister quits. A minister resigned over a scandal that threatens Trudeau. No, David doesn't drink beer. Yes, I'm sure I would not be a great entertainer, 166. Okay, that's true. David doesn't normally drink beer. Every, like, once in a while he'll drink an IPA. But he's not a general beer drinker. Like, he has, that was like maybe once in a blue moon he'll drink a blue moon, no, some kind of IPA. So Treasury Board President Jane Philpott said Monday it's untenable for her to continue to serve in cabinet because she could not defend the government. Former Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould testified last week that Trudeau and senior members of his government inappropriately tried to pressure her to avoid prosecution of a major Canadian engineering company in a case involving allegations of corruption in Libya. If convicted criminally, the company would be banned from receiving any federal government business for a decade. SNC Lavalin is an economic force in Canada with 9,000 employees. Trudeau acknowledged raising the issue with Wilson-Raybould, but said that it was appropriate for him to do so. All right. Yeah, he doesn't do that one-a-day thing, no. David is probably a super saver. Do I think the FDA should label news Do I think the FDA should label news organizations with a warning label? Food and Drug Administration, news organizations? No. The background image on David's computer is just like a standard blue background. He hasn't made it a special background. Psychological health is important, but I don't know. I wouldn't. Well, the internet, the way the internet ranking system is addictive, maybe that's like a drug. Wow, you must, are you kind of like a stalker, Fallout? You have every single thing David's ever said. It's like, ooh, I'll put this down under the, David says this about beer. Oh, I'll put this down under, David says this about growing grass. I'll put this down on, David says this about, I don't know. That's just all from memory? Wow. Do you have like a photographic memory or? You can probably keep better track of what I say than what have I said. I don't drink beer. Oh wait. I have had alcoholic beverages before, but it's been about 7 or 8 years. And then even then it was like 1 or 2 at any given setting. I am the only person who can save the world. No, actually, wonder changes everything. Worms can save the world. You can save the world. Okay. You watched Iron Man today and you felt like it was pretty good? Good. Aw, that's so sad. Whidbey Island has an elk and it's tangled up in some kind of blue tarp. Oh, poor elk. There's a major Warner Media overhaul. AT&T broke up Warner Media. Bulks up Warner Brothers, a major Warner Media overhaul. Yeah, I will miss Luke Perry a little bit. Not as much as my friends, but... Some are friends, yeah. I think... Are you my friend, DTV? It's hard to tell which ones are trolls and which ones are friends. Wow. Google went to thought, oh, maybe we're not having equity in our pay, and they found out that they were underpaying men. I don't know where the butcher is. As Google is trying to address wage equity, it finds it's underpaying many men. A survey of employee salaries at Google reached a surprising conclusion. More men than women were being underpaid.
You check the temperature tonight. Are we pretty good?
Oh, I have no idea.
I know.
I heard it was going to freeze tonight. Does that help you?
That helps me a lot. Thanks. That's exactly what I needed to know. That's the best thing I've heard yet. I can't wait to have more freezing nights.
And then tomorrow's going to have, like right now it's 33 degrees.
Okay, so I'll take care of that. Okay. Low's going to be 28, 29.
29.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay. I don't know where Bishop is. Well, thanks, DTV. You feel David is maybe the last hope for any center Democrats out there. Sorry, I know it was a little tease to have David possibly come on. Wow. It was found to the surprise of everyone that men were being paid less money than women for doing similar work.
You want me to do your vehicle?
I already did.
Oh, good. Okay.
Critics said the results of the pay study could give a false impression. Company officials acknowledged that it did not address whether women were hired at a lower pay grade than men with similar qualifications. All right. Make something reasonable. The Green Deal make it look reasonable. Trying to follow. Yes, I heard that, Reptoid. DTV, you got kicked out of so many classes in school for challenging the authority figures? Wow. Zero retention? Rention? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry that you got kicked out of school. You gotta learn tact when arguing with professors. Yes, I do know ideas that go way over the textbooks. Yeah. I argued with professors, but I did it with some tact. No one's interested in your plasma rediscovery. I'm sorry, Vangelitis, I'm not interested in your plasma rediscovery. You didn't like school, it was a waste of your time. What would you have rather been doing? He can tell you all about how he argued with Milton Friedman, who wasn't even his professor. He just walked into some session that Milton Friedman was doing. No, I know that's not legal here, Streaky. Washington State, that's illegal. Corporal punishment is illegal in classrooms in Washington State, fortunately. Am I more advanced than my students? I would hope so. No. I talk to my students and care for them. Care about them. No, Streaky, never, ever. I comfort children. Help them. You're right, DTV. Book burning and blocking ideas is not what Center is all about, much like banning people on any online platform because we don't like their speech or ideas. Good point. How many students do I have? Ballpark 25. I don't teach high school, so I don't teach multiple classes. I just teach one class all day, same kids. That's fun. It's funny because, you know, teachers will say they have a lot more students, but it's the hours a day they spend with them is about the same as I spend with 25 students.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
There we go. So, well, you have been again a fantastic support, and I appreciate your giving us time. And people like talking to you, and it helped me a lot, so I can have dinner and refresh. Thank you so much. Wow.
Yes.
Can you sell their clothes they leave behind on eBay? I don't know. Try. eBay is a chance to sell 50 items for free every month. How can people pass that up?
I pass it up.
I know. It's
because I don't want to collect it
Yeah.
to sell in the first place.
Oh yeah, you don't want the wasted. Yeah, don't pick up garbage if you want to, clean your life up. I agree. I don't even think eBay tells people that. You got to go to the site to actually learn how to sell. And then you'll find out that you can sell stuff on eBay for free. Yeah, it's a pretty good deal to start with, If you want to, make money on getting rid of your old stuff, it's a good idea to clean up your closet and get rid of stuff that you don't need. I have a rule I live by, which is if you don't use it, lose it. Now, I plan on using all the things that I'm collecting for hundreds of years, so that's been a huge I've amassed a tremendous amount of stuff that I'll be using well into the next century. I don't know, Streaky. I think a lot of you are just hopelessly MGTOW, you know. You're not allowed to talk about women in a negative way here, so that's a mutable offense, Streaky. Think about it for 5 more minutes, then come back and try to be a real person. You don't last long in this room unless you actually understand how to chat. You know, the people that stick here, like Mad Dog's Backyard, Real Man's Butcher, DTV, these are the people that are stuck on the Vaughn Network that are always regulars because they don't speak out of turn. And you trolls just can't figure that out. You can't figure out how to talk in here. Duh. I mean, women and men are truly a match, you know. Without your parents having sex, you wouldn't have been born. I don't care if you're a transgender. I don't really want to go there. Thank you for asking. So if you are involved in a lesbian, gay, bi, transgender fantasies in your own life, that's fine. I'm just not going to cater to you by catering to the LGBTQ group as a priority. Are you of that nature? Are you planning on becoming a transsexual? That's your personal opinion. I don't care. It's whatever you do in the privacy of your own life among consenting adults. What I do in my spare time is I hang out at a place called Cool Rock.
In a world where bass rules the planet and its inhabitants worship sound, 2 superpowers collide. We bring you a nightly soundscape of incredible music. Join us at coolrock.com and watch virtual chat, great music, and interactive news links.
Okay, so by the time it opens up, you are looking at our chat room. Oh, really? I'll love be going DJ on Second Life. I can't wait. I'm going, so here we've got the chat from one of our shows. And if you want to enable Flash, you can get chat from iVlog and video from iVlog. And the nice thing about this site is you can get rid of the ads by clicking the X button. Anything you want. There's never any ads, so don't worry about it. The guy who runs the site, Scraplet, doesn't seem to care, so. And anything you want, you can move around. This is your site to customize as you wish. This is one of the few sites on the internet that does this. Now we've got some great channels here at the top of our sector. We've got the ATP YouTube channel. All right, moving that out of there. Thank you. And this is the mic, by the way. Yeah, and then we've got the Scissor Fight collection, which is really cool. He's got great songs, all original by Scissor Fight. And if you've never listened to some of the music, it's pretty impressive. Apparently clip is down today. Huh. That's weird. Well, I guess we don't have Scissor Fight's music. Maybe he's gone dark for some reason. That's weird. Huh. Strange. Yeah, you notice that clip, this link right here doesn't seem to work for me. All right, anyway, normally it's up and running and you can check it out. Okay. Anyway, great stuff at Cool Rock if you want to check that out. Certainly something that might be worthwhile. Okay, let's talk about what's going on in politics. Stocks sink after economic data disappoints. Dow Jones drops 206 points. Dun, 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 dun. What is the background on Dave's computer? It's Windows 10. I got it for free. You got a new link? Okay. There it is. It just didn't pop up in time. It just normally pops up. I guess my cache is overloaded, but look at all the songs that he has here. And this is his newest, I Can't Follow.